All right, hey everybody. How we all feeling about these Zoan fruit videos? Are you guys tired of these yet? Well, I got some good news for you. We got like 10 more of them coming your way for Christmas. Yeehaw! All right, what are we talking about today? Oh, this is actually going to be, we've already done animal facts for like 3 of the different zoans we're going to be discussing today. So this is actually perfect, okay? Today we're going to be talking about horses of courses. All right. Now, in the story, you got 2 confirmed devil fruits that have been introduced as the horse fruits, the Uma nomis. Okay. The first one shows up at Skypiea, and honestly, we don't really get to see it all that much. In fact, I thought it only had 1 appearance in the entire manga. It actually has a whopping 2 appearances, right? So when Gonfall runs into the Straw Hats in the White Sea, before they've even reached the White Sea in Skypiea yet, Gonfall kind of chases off Wiper. He gives them a little bit of a tutorial on the sky ocean and everything, gives them the whistle so they can summon him, and he's flying around on a bird, a polka-dotted bird named Pierre. And Pierre is such a cool character, by the way. Pierre just likes to chill out and drink some pumpkin juice. He's like a very zen kind of like familiar for Gonfall, okay? And absolutely unprompted, for no reason whatsoever, Gonfall is leaving. The Straw Hats are like, "Who are you? What is your name?" And he's like, "Well, my name is Gonfall, and this is my partner, Pierre. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Pierre ate the horse fruit, and he can turn into a horse with wings." And everybody is like, "Well, okay, we didn't ask that, but whatever. Okay, that's cool." And then Pierre begins to transform from a bird into his hybrid form with horse and bird together. So it's going to be a winged stallion or whatever. And everybody's like, "Wow, a Pegasus? That's so magical and beautiful." And then, the joke is Pierre just kind of looks like this, and Pierre can only say his name kind of like a Pokemon. So he's just like, "Pierre!" and kind of gallops away, flying, and Gonfall is like, "Good luck and best of luck in battle, my friends. May Providence see you through. Away, Pierre!" And he gallops away. Like, what was the point of him transforming? Like, why? I think Oda just wanted to draw a funny little Pegasus that was pink with little polka dots all over it, right? Maybe Pierre is just really proud of the fact that he can transform into a horse with wings. And so Gonfall, like at every single oh, by the way, you want to see something really cool Pierre can do? Go ahead, Pierre. You can show it to him. You've been practicing, right? And so, yeah, we have a bird that ate a horse zone that can transform into a hybrid form with a horse that has wings. And then the second time we see this ability is a little bit later in the arc when Gonfall is on the Going Merry explaining to Nami and Usopp and everybody that he used to be the god of Skypiea. And Usopp is kind of a little incredulous over this. He doesn't really believe him, because Gonfall literally is like, "Let me tell you a story. So I used to be God." And, whenever an old man is telling you, "I used to be God," that, it's like, okay, old man, time to get your naps now. Do you need your medication? Right? Usopp is like, "Hey, man, did you get hit in the head or something?" And Pierre gets really pissed at Usopp saying that, sort of making fun or poking fun at Gonfall. So Pierre transforms into a horse and bites Usopp's head in sort of a comedic moment. And that is the last time we see Pierre transformed into a horse. That was the only other time he's used it to fight against Usopp. But he, I think, pretty handily beat Usopp in that fight. So you could power scale Pierre however you'd like there. So there's only one other horse fruit in the story, and we actually get to see it pretty recently with the rest of the Blackbeard pirates when they reveal their devil fruits when they were fighting against Law's Heart pirates, okay? We see Stronger, the steed of Doc Q, and Stronger, who I need to remind you was already a horse, consumed the Uma no Mi model Pegasus, mythical zone model Pegasus, all right? So we have a bird that can turn into a Pegasus through the hybrid, and then we also have a horse that ate a horse Zoan that doesn't matter, I guess, when he transforms into his hybrid or his full Pegasus form. He doesn't change except for growing wings. all right. This is like, all right, sure. We'll get into that at the end. I'll talk about stronger last in the video. I was gonna maybe think about making a whole dedicated video because he is a mythical Zoan, but like we haven't really seen him do much, so just a little bit of stuff to bring up with the Pegasi. Pegasus is, he can turn into Maximilian Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! This special ability of the mythical Pegasus Zoan is you get to create a children's card game. It's actually, okay, while we're talking about Pegasus really quick from Yu-Gi-Oh!, do you know what Pegasus's actual name is? Like his full first and last name is in the manga? It's never spoken in the 4Kids dub of the anime, and I was very disappointed in it. His full name is Pegasus Crawford. Yeah, I know. That would have been so cool if, like, it was actually mentioned in the 4Kids dub. I'd be like, whoa, he has the same last name as me. That's so cool. It's all right, though. It's all right. I also grew up with Digimon, and one of the main characters in Digimon was named Matt. Yamato in Japanese, but Matt in English. So it's like, oh, okay, it's whatever. My name showed up. When did your name show up in an anime? Let me know down below. There are a couple of other Zoans that I believe very strongly belong in the horse fruit category, and they are both coincidentally jailer beasts, demon guards at Impel Down. One of them I think is not contentious in the slightest. We have Mino Zebra, who is an awakened user of a previously unknown zebra Zoan. So kind of like how we did with the ox Zoans, right? We go up through the taxonomical pyramid of animals in our world, and you get to the order of Artiodactylia, which is all the even-toed ungulates, and that included oxen, but also giraffes, and so that's why giraffes and bison are kind of in the same category of the ox fruits. Well, if you do something similar with the order of horses, or the order that horses belong to, because horses belong to the family of Equidae, and that's a family. So you go one above for order, you get into Perissodactylia, and these are the odd-toed ungulates, all right? So as you can see here, they include Equidae, which are horses and zebras. They also include rhinoceroses, as well as tapirs. So it'd be cool. We have horse fruit model tapir at some point. Tapirs are cool. They got the nose. It's just, yeah, okay. So there you go. So I'm going to put both, yes, Mino Zebra being a horse fruit, I think that makes perfect sense. Rhinoceros might be a little bit more like, I'm not sure about that, but I put it in the same category of like, well, giraffes and bison might not look very similar, but Oda's putting them in the same category, and they're both in the order of Artiodactylia. Rhinos and horses might not look super similar, but they're also in the same order, and they're the odd-toed ones, and so I'm just throwing it in there. I think it makes sense. And I've already done animal facts on horses, rhinoceroses, and zebras before. So there we go. In fact, I think, I do. Hold on a minute. I have right here on the tree, I got my little rhinoceros friend here. I was at a zoo a couple of years ago, and I think it was actually during when I was doing rhino facts for the channel, and I found a little stuffed rhinoceros, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm going to get my little rhinoceros. All right. Oh, and also, before I forget, as a caveat to, like, all of these videos, you might be bringing up the smile users. Like, in this case, what about Speed? She's a centaur lady that has the horse smile. Aren't you going to mention her? Well, I just did. But also the fact that I'm thinking smiles will be, like, separate video, just where we catalog every single one of those, because there's a lot of them. Like, I don't think you might realize how many smile fruits there are that we see during Wano. There's like over 50. Not all of them, not all of the characters are given names because there's just so many of them. Their names are usually given in like Vivre cards later, but we do see them in the manga. Like, remember the one that has like the butterfly smile that was like attacking the Sunny? Yeah, she has a name that was given later, but we don't see it in the manga, right? Yeah, but like her character and all the other smiles are shown in the background at Onigashima and everything. But yeah, not counting Momonosuke's because it's not a smile, it's like an actual artificial one created by Vegapunk. It's a little different than the ones created by Caesar. Yeah, there's like 50 plus smile users. So that'll be a separate category. We can go a separate video. We can go through all of them. But yes, Speed is a centaur. She has the horse smile, and I don't even think she's the only one that has a horse smile. I think we see a few others as well, because those ones can kind of double up given their nature. Also, many of you might be bringing up Ethan Baron Venus Juro, the member of the Garosei that can turn into a skeleton horse. We don't actually technically know if those are mythical zones 100%. They could be something else, but I am, for the purposes of this series, going to include them as mythical zones. The Garosei are going to have their separate video, so I'll be discussing all of their forms in that video. But yes, yes, Ethan Bearing can transform into a scary, creepy skeleton horse. So, yeah. Now, in the case with Pierre, just backtracking to him really quick, he just transforms into like a typical riding horse, like a domesticated horse that you would see around here. You know, a lot of farms. I live in the country, so there's lots of horses, you know, just on farms, just hanging out. There's also dressage or dressage. Is it dressage or dressage? I'm going to say dressage because it sounds fancier, you know. And also there's like horse racing and things like that. Horses are around. Coincidentally, interestingly enough, and obviously horses have played a big role in like warfare, you know, like you have a mounted cavalry now and things like that. Cavalry. One's a hill, one's a unit of soldiers. Okay, a lot of different words in this video. All right, here's something funny. Horses originally evolved here in like what would be referred to as the New World in North America, okay? Around 55 million years ago, horses did evolve here. They were a lot smaller, and they didn't really live in grasslands so much. It was more like a forested kind of animal, right? And, you know, over the years, the ice sheets melt and then freeze and melt and then freeze, and they kind of made their way over to the Old World, into Asia and like the Eurasian continents and stuff like that, you know, in that general area there. And so eventually, though, over here, they ended up going extinct. And this could be through a combination of different things like the climate shifting. Also, when humans crossed the Bering Land Bridge and kind of made their way into the North and South American continents, just around that same time, coincidentally, a lot of the megafauna just kind of started to disappear, like the mammoths and like mastodons and the glyptodons, and yeah, the mega sloths, like they all kind of started to disappear when humans showed up. But it probably wasn't just that, but it probably played a factor, right? So horses were gone over here by the time we get to like the Spanish Empire arriving here and, you know, taking over everything. You know, they're bringing horses back over to this area, and so that's kind of the story where the horse came from. Yeah, little interesting fun facts for you there. And so, yeah, that's basically just the standard domesticated horse, you know, stallion that Pierre transforms into. He's very proud of his ability. That's why he barely uses it. Okay. Then again, Pierre doesn't really show up that much in the story, but hey, Pierre's going to show back up Final War, and Pierre in his Pegasus form is going to fight against Stronger in his Pegasus form. You know what? That could actually happen. Let's see it. Let's see which Pegasus is better, right? Okay. So then we have Minos Zebra, who transforms into a zebra, and zebras work a little bit differently than horses in terms of like their family structure and things like that. They're not really organized in the same way, which is why you can't exactly tame, or you could tame a zebra. Domesticating a zebra is not really going to work in the same way as a horse. If you ever watched the YouTuber CGP Grey, he did a really good video years ago about like domestication and how it works with like certain animals and things. And it basically comes down to they have family structures and hierarchy that humans exploit. And so zebras don't really have that in the same way. So that's really the way that like there's not people riding around on zebras all over like Africa and things like that. So interestingly enough, though, with zebras, there are these things called zebroids. I know they sound alien when you describe them that way, but they're basically crosses between like horses and zebras, and they all have different names depending. So there's Zorses, which is a cross between a horse and a zebra, and because they're all in the same family of Equidae, which also includes like asses, you know, like donkeys and stuff, right? Okay, so a zebra crossed with a donkey is a zonkey. This exists. And then you have a zoni, I guess, maybe a pony and a zebra. I don't know. I'm just like, it's just basically portmanteaus of words, which I like portmanteaus. So like that works great for me. Then there's Zenki, which looping back around to a Yu-Gi-Oh card that never got printed in the TCG, but there's Zenki too, so I don't know, I just threw that in there. So yeah, for further reference, go check out the zebra facts I've done on the channel, but yeah, they belong to the family of horses, so there you go. And then we have the rhinoceroses. So rhinoceroses, there's a few species of them that aren't doing too well right now. The rarest form of rhino, I remember this from the animal facts segments, is the Javan rhinoceros, right? And they live on the island of Java. They are critically endangered. There is not very many of them left, but there's a few different kinds. There's white rhinos and black rhinos, and the Sumatran rhinoceros that looks a little bit different than the ones in Africa. So yeah, though, you could definitely see like the similarities similarity, though, like where they split off and diverged from horses. Like, it is definitely there, obviously. I mean, you could say, also, do rhinos count as unicorns? That could be a possibility. Maybe Mino Rhinoceros actually has the mythical horse fruit model unicorn, but it just looks like a rhinoceros. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, like, back in the day, when, you know, because you got to remember, in the time period before, like, not just the internet, but before the existence of, like, the printing press, and it was, like, really easy to copy a drawing or a piece of paper through, like, movable type, or, like, by the wooden blocks they would use to, like, mass distribute things. Let's say somebody went to Africa and saw a rhino and then went back to Europe or Asia or something and tried to describe what he saw, but he's not a great artist. Like, go back and look at some of the early art of people drawing animals, and it's like wolves and rhinos and giraffes. Some of them look really trippy because they're going off of just memory here, and they might not be the best artists, especially if they're going to a person that's like, hey, I saw this weird animal over here in this part of the world in Africa, draw it. And he's like, okay, drawing a rhino, but he's going off of a description, and so the rhino might end up looking really janky at the end of it, right? It's kind of like that, right? Maybe it was interpreted as like, oh yeah, it's a unicorn. And then finally, we have Stronger's Pegasus Zoan, his mythical variant. Really sucks for Stronger because Stronger's already a very sickly horse. Turning into a mythical Zoan doesn't help him. Remember Jackie Chan Adventures with the different talismans, the horse talisman, the one that grants you healing abilities? Yeah, Stronger doesn't have that power. We don't know if he has anything special. I mean, all mythical Zoans seem to have some kind of like paramecia-esque ability on top of being able to turn into an animal. That's kind of the whole advantage of mythical Zoans. But we haven't seen it from his perspective yet. I mean, yeah, he can grow wings, but so can every bird Zoan. So, you know, I don't think the wings alone are something that gives you, like, a fantastical power. There might be something else, and so I looked into it. So, do you know the origin of the Pegasus? It's Greek. Shows up, I think the first written, examples of it is, like, 700 BCE, something like that. So, Perseus kills the Medusa. You remember the Medusa, right? Lady with snake hair, and she can, like, turn you to stone and shit like that. Perseus stabs her and kills her, and she bleeds out, and then out of the pool of blood emerges the Pegasus. There's also another, like, a Pegasus had a brother, but, like, nobody cares about him. Anyway, yeah, Pegasus, actually, in the manga, also for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pegasus does have a brother. He shows up in Yu-Gi-Oh! R, and that's where, like, the wicked avatar of, like, the evil gods show up. It was a wild time. But anyway, yeah, Pegasus emerges out of the blood of Medusa after Perseus slays her, and that's kind of the origin of that. Later on becomes the personal mount of Zeus, and so carries Zeus's thunderbolts as Zeus rides on Pegasus and throws thunderbolts down. So sometimes you'll see depictions of Zeus riding on top of the Pegasus as his mighty steed and shit like that. Sometimes when Pegasus steps in the ground, the divot in the ground caused by his hooves will be filled with water, and the water has like magical properties, you know, for like inspiration and things like that. So yeah, I don't know, on top of flight we could do hurling thunderbolts from above. I feel like if Stronger had that ability, we probably would have seen it when he was fighting Law and his crew. And maybe magical water. You know, that would actually be really funny if it did have a healing property and Stronger was the, like, opposite to Doc Q, who has the sick fruit. And then you have Stronger, who has the Pegasus Zoan that can heal things. You could also argue, did Stronger have the devil fruit prior to the time skip? Or you could even argue, wait a minute, what if Stronger is actually like maybe not a human, but maybe another animal that ate the Pegasus Zoan, and we're only seeing him in his full form? I'm pretty sure Stronger, before the time skip, did not have this devil fruit. The ability to fly would have been immensely useful a couple of times, especially at Marineford, and Stronger was never shown to have that power. So very clearly, I think he got the power post-time skip, you know, at some point when they were going out hunting for really strong devil fruit abilities. So yeah, because he is a horse that ate a horse fruit, the only thing that changes is he grows wings. So effectively, I would say he doesn't even have a hybrid form. It's basically just his normal horse form and then the full Pegasus form, which just grows wings. And, like, you could kind of remove the middle ground of the hybrid Zoan at that point, right? Otis talked about this before, and we've seen it a few times. Like, Luffy has eaten a human fruit, model sun god Nika. So that kind of explains why Luffy kind of doesn't have a hybrid. It's either he goes into his full Nika form in Gear 5th, or he's just always in that form, actually, maybe because he can stretch and things like that when he was, pre-time skip. But yeah, that's how it goes, I guess. Same thing with Sengoku. Sengoku has the human fruit model Daibutsu, and I don't think he has a hybrid form either. It's just his normal human form, or he goes into giant golden Buddha statue form, right? And we'll be getting to Sengoku soon. But yeah, some other animals here. I mean, we could have horse fruit model pony or donkey, or miniature horses, which are different from ponies. Mules, horse fruit model mule, and so also tapir, horse fruit model tapir. Why not, right? Okay, I'll throw those out there as well. Okay, so that's the horse video. Fantastic. We got that one done. Next up are cats. We got cats. Now, I was going to say there was only 2 of these. We got Lucci's leopard and Who's saber-toothed cat. But if you were very astute at reading the beginning of Elbaf, you will see that Rhodes' pet cat, the Iscat, inside of the miniature city, the land of the gods, turned into a lion at some point and then was knocked out and then turned back into a cat. Seems very clear that this cat consumed the cat fruit model lion. So we actually have a 3rd member of the cat fruit category to discuss. Yeah, so we could talk about lions next time. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Techie 101 signing out. Later. We're making it through these. Oh, by the way, also, I will bring this up now because people will mention the smiles every now and then. Like, what about speed? Also, by the way, people might bring up, something else, just really quick. You might be bringing up Speed, the headliner, that Wano, because she has the power of the Smile Zone, the horizon. Also, many of you might be